Hello, beloved When Will It End listeners. This is Josh going solo. This is a crazy time in the world. It's a scary time in the world. Things are changing very rapidly and plans are being moved around. We had worked hard on a series that now has changed its release date for its next installment. So in lieu of that series, we're going to pivot and we're going to put together a new special series for you guys out there listening. So please stick with us. We're going to be with you podcasting weekly. Things are going to sound and be a little different, but we got you on this one. You're going to like what we're going to do, and please stick with us. And all the love to everyone out there during this scary time. All right, now enjoy an episode of Podcast. Hello and welcome to When Will It End? It's a movie podcast. We watch the movies. It's a franchise
It's now
podcast.
our slogan.
We watch the movies.
It just became our slogan.
Well,
we watch the movies.
Sometimes truth comes from the mouths of babes.
Italians?
Italiano.
We watch the movies.
Imagine if Blade went to friggin' Italy.
Yeah, we can only hope that Blade Trinity gets over there. I mean, what better? It's where the Trinity started.
It's true, the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, Vatican.
Father, Son,
Ryan Reynolds.
Exactamundo.
Good Italian.
We're watching the Blade movies right now, and we just got done with Blade 2.
We're not sure if we're
Guillermo
still
del Toro joint.
watching Blade movies, though.
It feels like we're watching other movies.
Yeah.
Other movies by other people. You know, we went into this being like, well, same screenwriter.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're not going to drive this off a cliff.
We were hopeful.
We were hopeful, and, it's kind of like the Dread Lord of Vampires' elaborate plan to get Blade or something. He was hopeful that by getting Blade to work with his team of bloodthirsty Blade hunters led by his daughter to find the Reapers, who are hybrid mutant vampires who feast on vampires, but were in fact created by vampires and are the children, in a way, of the Dread Lord of Vampires, that would lead Blade back to the place where he already was at the beginning of the movie again. And then he could kill Blade.
Wait, so you just explain that to me. Can you have another scene explain it to me again?
Well,
Guillermo does like to make sure we understand what's going on.
First off, I want to point out one thing that's good about this movie.
Yeah, that's fine. What's that?
There was so much Blade in Blade.
Wait, I thought you were being serious.
There was so much Blade in Blade. And I was like, what if there was not as much Blade and he was sort of weird and didn't do very much?
Yeah. What if it's on vacation? What if we I feel like this is the closest equivalent so far that we've reached. The Wesley Snipes in this is like Wesley Snipes is to Blade 2 as fucking Michael Caine is to Jaws 4.
No, full autopilot is the vibe, for sure.
What the fuck? And it's not even really his fault, because I'm sure like Guillermo del Toro is so fucking Del Toro had his hand on his dick the entire fucking movie, being like, fucking blood cocaine, fucking blood gel.
Hold on. The blood cocaine was cool.
Troop, yeah, but like when you add it to 600 other like tiny bullshit things, like my little fucking pink girl and the like weird. He adds so much detail to everything. It loses. Details are great when they're like little moments that help make a place feel real. When all it does is make it feel like the director is fucking jerking off over the entire set.
Okay, the first movie is gritty. This movie is garish.
Yeah.
Everything feels like it's too much.
Uh-huh.
It's definitely, the thing about world building is that I love the idea of seeing more of the vampire world. That's really cool.
Sure.
I love seeing more of the internal dynamics of the vampire dynasty.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I actually, as an absolute nerd, reading an elaborate history of European diplomatic trials and travails in the 17th century right now, I actually get off on that stuff. It's interesting.
Yeah.
This is dumb and boring.
Yeah.
And done poorly and very irritating.
We're going to have to figure out how to make this episode fun.
Well, we're going to find a way to make it fun. But first, I want to read a quote to you.
Oh, yeah?
This is something that I was thinking about watching the movie.
Can't wait.
You are ugly, but you are beautiful. And you fight like a Thark. You know who said that?
Tall's darkest.
Tars Tarkus. And I need to issue to our listeners a huge apology. I have been calling the Tharks the Therns. And I realize now that the Therns are the goddesses' helpers who are the clandestine agents of chaos represented by Mark Strong.
Yeah, Mark Strong. That's a Thern?
Those are Therns. Tars Tarkus and his ilk
is a Tark.
Is a Tharks.
Thark.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like I've done a disservice.
You know what? We've had 3 weeks
Yeah.
to make sure. 4? We've had a lot of weeks.
I miss Greek salad, man.
He used to set it straight.
You would have hated this movie.
Oh my God. I'm so glad you ate him.
I would put Blade 2 in the Alien Resurrection.
Yeah.
You said earlier it's like Aliens, and you're right in the sense that they're like, what if things were even crazier
Whoa.
and there was a team? Why do directors think the wildest shit you can possibly imagine in a sequel is a team?
Yeah. So I heard this story.
Yeah.
It might be fake, but I'm going to tell it to you.
Call it apocryphal. That sounds like that is more of a
I almost said
gravitas
apocryphal,
to it.
but then I was like, wait, it sounds apocalyptic. So
Well,
I just don't say it. But apocryphal. Might be apocryphal.
Sure.
Del Toro walks into a meeting with a bunch of big fat cats. They're all wearing suits, chomping cigars, sitting around a big, long table.
Sharkskin suits, I bet.
Yeah, he gets up to the front of the room and they're like, so what's this Blade business? You're taking over Blade. What you going to do?
You're taking a long walk, but I love where we're going.
He writes Blade, numeral 2.
Dollar sign.
Dollar signs it.
Blade
fucking dollar
juice.
signs it. And then they're like, oh, we just had that meeting with Cameron, but yeah, sure, whatever, man.
Yeah, go crazy, motherfucker.
Yeah, you want to have a fucking troop of 6 vampires that all dress differently? Go for it. There's so many crimes in this movie.
Okay, so many crimes in this movie. The most egregious is, okay, fine, we're going to water down the movie by having there be a team of people, which is already a terrible idea. Okay, again, you watch Blade, and you're like, well, what works about this? And it's like, well, he's steely, cold, independent. His alliances are forged entirely. Like, there's emotion, but it's largely convenience, because he's a driven, like, sociopath who has a single goal.
Yeah.
And his relationships matter to him, but they clearly are not what govern his choices.
Right. Oh, there's lots of things. He's complicated.
Right.
He does good, but not for the right reasons.
He's driven by revenge and a sense of reclaiming his identity that was stolen from him.
He does bad. He has a hard time acknowledging people that are important to him, but he does understand it. He just doesn't like talking about it. He has a father figure that goes unnamed as a father figure.
Which wisely, they course corrected this
Really
movie.
nice. Oh my God. I wasn't quite sure what to make of Whistler.
About his relationship with the older man who raised him.
Oh, remember in this movie when there was a flashback of Whistler killing himself?
But I
thought they were going to have like
they re-edited.
They didn't even edit it.
No, they did. The gunshot's louder in this one.
Right.
I noticed that. Because it was kind of quiet in the first movie.
I liked that in the first one.
Yeah.
But so like they made the gunshot even more pronounced, and they never told us. Wait, so he shot himself in the head,
but didn't die, and then was
die?
turned into a vampire.
I guess maybe he was too late. Maybe he was already a vampire.
This is a fucking irritating ass movie. Anyway, okay, so basically they're saying, let's take this complicated, interesting guy who, with very little dialogue, communicates a great deal about his inner pain and turmoil, and behind that stoic mask, we see a man who's deeply conflicted. What if we plug him into a quirky team?
Sure.
And
That's
give them
exactly it.
An aimless mission that leads them into set pieces that are so boring.
There are 3.
The two that I'm thinking of, the club sequence, which is dreadful, and the sewer sequence, which is full of questions so annoying that I hate having to ask them.
Yeah. Oh my God.
This movie introduces so much stuff that is immediately undercut by plot convenience in a way the first movie did not at all. Nothing about the first movie was convenient. It's like a grim grind of a movie. It's
How do you
awesome.
want to do this? Do you want to? So I said we have 2 options ahead.
They killed Donnie. They showed us Donnie and they killed Donnie.
We're gonna get to that.
Okay.
Do you want to do this by? I think.
Let's start at the beginning because the beginning is truly terrible.
Well, do we want to go by scene or by character? Because I think those are 2 approaches we could take to this episode. We could talk about the ways the characters got fucked up, or we could talk about each individual scene, and that will also get us how the characters are fucked up, but maybe focus us in set pieces. I'm not sure.
Let's do it by scene.
Yeah, I think that's better.
Okay, so we established the movie. We left off in Moscow with Blade being a fucking badass and getting ready to slay some Russian.
You know what I learned?
What?
That the Russian word for comrade isn't comrade.
What is it?
I don't know. He said a different word, and the subtitle said comrade.
I wouldn't necessarily take Blade 2 as the...
No, it was Blade. His first one. Like his last movie was just like, "Come eat my cock, comrade," or something.
That's it. It's the famous last line of Blade. "Come eat my cock, comrade."
It was like being with a D.
Wow.
Or whatever the fucking Russians use instead of a D.
Well, yeah, I guess there's no way of knowing. So, move on.
You know the letter that looks like a B?
Yeah, it's like a backwards lowercase b.
It's not a fucking B.
God, Cyrillic be crazy.
Yeah, what fucking assholes.
Too much. Okay, so we're in Prague or something, or some horrible European place, and who cares?
Full of white people dancing with their elbows.
No, you're jumping so far ahead. But yes, that scene, the club's dancing scene, is the most. And now do this. Well, there's no music playing I've ever seen on a movie set.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, you're having fun. Like in the first movie, the club scene. That's Tracy
fun.
Lords, the porn star, leading that guy into the dance. In the first movie, I found out.
I don't know Tracy Lords.
She's a porn star.
Yeah,
super cool. The club scene in the first movie, like the bloodbath party, is fucking so sick,
iconic,
and it's sexy and wild and threatening.
Yeah,
and the watery Euro version of it that we get in this is fucking whack.
Anyway, we're starting with the beginning.
Okay,
we'll get to that scene.
Okay, first off, imagine it's Blade. Everything looks like shit and it's stupid.
That's the subtitle.
Yeah.
Blade 2.
Everything is like colorful and there's too much detail and it's distracting, and the cool grit and grain and the Michael Mann quality of the first movie that makes it so urban and hip and interesting is completely lost, and it looks like a bad theater production of like fucking Amelie. There's a blood bank. This guy goes to the blood bank and they're like, "Your blood's pretty crazy, buddy, man. Come to the special torture room." And he's like, "Psych! I actually eat vampires. It's crazy."
Yeah, Bonnie Vaire's
munch,
there.
munch. Blood banks him. That EP is where I started to think maybe I can't remember that album very much.
I don't remember how it sounds. I think I was singing some other song.
I wish that this movie had more Bonnie Vare in it. That'd be fucking tight.
That'd be cool. I mean, I don't think he was really doing much at that point, but
he's probably all swimming in his daddy's nutsack.
Yeah, he's not that young.
No, he's old as shit. He should die now.
He's older than me, I think.
This movie's bad. The thing about the first movie I'm going back to the scene thing, so don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Please don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at you.
I feel no emotion. I'm not going to feel emotion until tomorrow.
Well, it's good to make that commitment now.
I mean, I have no choice. I just watched that.
It was very bad.
And just all sucked out.
So in the first movie, what did we say? Do you remember what I said about the first movie that I liked so much about Blade the character?
Yeah, I remember all that. We just said it all. Yeah.
No, but specifically I said there's one thing that they don't do in this movie that's great.
What's that?
Voiceover.
Yeah.
Very early on in Blade 2, we get a big old dose of voiceover.
Who does the voiceover?
That's Wesley Snipes.
That is Wesley Snipes.
And he goes literally,
right,
"I'm Blade. You may remember in the first movie when the following events happened." And you're like, wait, no, they're not doing it.
Last week on Blade.
Yeah, right. And then here's the thing. We're talking about franchises.
This is not how you make a sequel.
This is not how you make a sequel. Like,
you don't summarize the first. If there are plot points that are important, which, first of all, bringing back a character that people liked that died for a purpose in the first one.
No, but the Emperor Palpatine, the Rise of the Skywalkers, where if the revelation late in the movie is, "Oh my God, Whistler's a fucking vampire," that would be so sick.
Right.
And instead they're like, Whistler, who you all thought was dead, didn't die, is a vampire, needs to be rescued, and now we're going to go do that.
Right, but he also said he was hunting him. It was very confusing. I thought he was like, I thought the whole movie was going to be Blade trying to kill. I thought Whistler was going to be the main bad guy.
No, that would be cool and interesting.
I was
and
like,
have
that's
conflict.
Weird to bring him back, but if that's the conflict they're going for, it sounds sort of cool.
But we were talking about his absent father figure, who's not mentioned at all in the first two of these movies.
Two? Oh, yeah. Like his actual. I thought you were talking about Whistler being the father figure. No, exactly.
No. We've never talked about Blade's father. So to have the second movie be Blade confronts the evil version of his father figure would be of kind of a fascinating bookend to the first movie. He confronted his undead mother's new incarnation as a vampire. In the second movie, his actual father figure. Like that would be a really interesting choice.
Yeah.
And they were like, nope, Whistler's back and he's more whistling than ever.
Yeah, it sucked.
It's fucking dead.
It sucked.
No good. Bad, not good.
It was like, it all happened. So the opening, first of all, they didn't even acknowledge that he died in the first one. It wasn't like, I thought he was dead, but I found out later that he was still alive. It was like, they turned him into a vampire. Like, wait, really?
It's wacky shit.
No way, he died in the first one.
Right, and so just wrapping your head around
retcon, like strange thing to retcon for a character that does almost nothing in this movie. Is like
No, he's grumpy and helps out. He helps out Blade and
he humps Blade.
He helps him out.
How did I miss that?
You sick
That would have been
fuck.
fucking awesome.
That'd be great if they fucked.
He's like humped his leg.
That'd be so good.
Doesn't
Chris? I think Chris
I'm
Elliott does
back.
that in Scary Movie 4. He does hump someone's leg.
Yeah, he does.
Those are the good old days. Craig Bierko. I'm a Greek salad. You're right. This movie is full of fascinating questions. I want to pose this one to you. Do you understand the plot of this movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
I need your help with it because
It's very simple.
okay, I don't understand why the vampires bring in Blade to help them only later to reveal, was it a plot to kill his son or a plot to capture Blade or both?
I think both.
Okay.
I'm going to give the screenplay the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
I think what it was the vampires needed help in capturing
The Reapers. Led by son of head vampire guy.
As Blade or whoever says, they're gonna fuck us the first chance they get. So that was also in their little deck.
Right. Which they do.
Yeah, they do.
And
why'd they keep him alive?
I don't know.
The
I
first
don't
one-
understand.
That was the thing we didn't talk about in the first one. That tension of like needing to capture Blade alive was really good because like 17 vampires against an unarmed Blade is going to kill Blade, but like needing to capture him alive not only kept the plot going but also had some fun, like that poor dude who keeps getting his arms chopped off.
Quinn played with the great Danelle Logue.
Yeah, they're like, why can't you just capture this guy? It was like, I mean, I could kill him if you wanted me to, but you want him alive, so it's hard.
Quinn is basically the Andy of Blade.
Yeah, he's our new Andy.
He's our new Andy.
Gone.
Imagine a fucking team up of Andy and Quinn.
We've already had. What was the other Andy we had recently?
I'm trying to remember.
Ah, fuck, I forgot.
All these movies are just like a slurry, like a river of like processed meat in my
But
head.
we have had an Andy recently, and it is nice when we feel that Andy energy.
Yeah.
Like third rate, not actor, but like you have your main, you have your supporting, then you have your like sort of middle supporting.
Yeah.
It's nice when you have like a beautiful middle supporting.
You want a
character.
C-list character who just gets to do cool shit like drink punch, then dump it right back into the punch bowl like
That
a
is-
fucking baller.
Maybe my favorite moment from any of the movies we've watched.
I liked when Danelle goes, I'm going to be a naughty vampire god or whatever.
Yes,
and it's like,
that
this
fucking
is sick.
ruled
This
too.
energy rules.
Yeah.
And in this
Yeah.
movie, again, they're like...
It's like when he's eating pizza.
Yeah,
It's like
it's so
the
sick.
equivalent of Andy eating pizza. He's
Which
like,
is a
I'm gonna
glorious
I'm
moment.
gonna be a god. I'm gonna be a naughty vampire god.
Like it's so fun. And this movie is like trying to be weird and quirky and fun, and in doing so is suffocating and dull.
So let's go by scene.
Okay.
I wanted to give it
I'm going to pull up the Wikipedia because I'm going
All
to
right.
forget the fucking...
there are literally 4 scenes in this movie, so it's not gonna be that hard. I wanted to like it, and I think the opening scene where he breaks into that warehouse and the motorcycle, like
I
it
didn't
looked
like it.
pretty good, but there were elements that I could already tell were problematic and indicative of a big problem in the movie. It was like following the boomerang blade. That whole shit was really like
annoying.
fucking like so focused and detailed that it was distracting. But the way he shot people and the way they blew up and like the focus, the camera angles, I was like, okay, this fight scene is well choreographed and pretty okay, and sort of uses CGI in a way that's good. I might not hate this movie.
Well, here's my counterpoint.
Yeah.
The beauty of Blade is that when we first behold Blade in the first movie, it's one of the best reveals maybe ever, where this blood-soaked, terrified human crawls out of like a writhing orgy of like keyed up vampires, and we see these boots standing on the clean tile floor, and we look up and it's Blade.
Yeah.
And even without knowing who he is for the first movie, you're like, oh, whoa, who is this fucking guy?
Yeah, power.
So for this movie to already launch into that, here's Blade doing Blade stuff.
Right.
I don't want that. I want to, rather than, I was thinking during the stupid voiceover part, I was like, this movie came out before the same level. Like no one is watching Blade on Netflix for the 4 years between these two movies. So they clearly felt like, okay, we have to reintroduce this character. We'll do it in the most literal way possible and literally reintroduce him.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
And like literally show they didn't even reshoot anything. They just like took old film from the first movie.
But they reversed the negativity on some of them to make them look cool.
That's true.
Yeah, pretty
and they
good.
changed the color.
Wow.
Yes.
In my mind, it's like, why not reintroduce him in a cool way where, again, we see someone stumble across an encounter between Blade and vampires. Like, to dive into the plot, to a plot like they did, to fast forward to, and now we're in the middle of a Blade adventure. It's like, no.
Yeah.
I want to discover Blade again.
I could see it both ways. If it were done well, I don't think I need a new introduction to the character. I'm fine with him, like, just sort of picking up where the last one left off. Because I know him, especially we just watched the first one. I mean, that was cool, and that was a really great way. I think that's why the first one, that scene's so successful, because you enter it through the eyes of a confused human who, like, meets vampires and is like, what the fuck is going on? And then he finds this superhero that comes and saves his life but doesn't even care about him. It's a really great way to start a movie. And I'm trying to think of, like, how to start a sequel like this. What was the opening scene? Was that really bad scene with the blood bank with Bonnie?
Well, we see the Reaper do his thing in the blood bank, and then we see, I'm Blade. You may remember me from Blade, and here I am saving Whistler. So he does the motorcycle bullshit. He saves Whistler, takes him back to his cave, and who's this? He's got a new sidekick, baby.
Yeah.
Boondock Saints fans,
you're in luck.
Guess what?
Cool.
Guess what?
You got
It's that guy.
You got the worst brother.
Yeah, the lamer one.
You didn't get the cool one. You got the greasy one.
They always look wet, and by they I mean Irish people.
Yeah, just all over.
It's
Their
weird.
hair,
Just
the
damp.
skin.
Anyway, so his name is Scud,
Sure.
and he
I
smokes
think
weed.
so. Yeah, all the fucking time.
He looks like Shaggy, dresses like Shaggy.
Yeah,
The cartoon character, not the popular R&B singer Shaggy.
I did like when he was offered a toke on the marijuana cigarette.
Blade goes, later.
I like that response.
That was cool.
It shows that he's down to have some fun every once in a while, but he's
It's
in
not
the middle of something.
It's not just the 3 M's.
Yeah.
When you're not doing metallurgy, you're not meditating, and you're not murdering vampires, you can smoke a whole fucking doob.
So it's the 4th M.
Marijuana. So he gives Whistler a shot, and Whistler is fine.
Oh, he's fine.
He's fine.
He gives him an ultimatum.
This occurs to me.
If you're not fine, but he's
you know,
fine.
we're talking about the cure. We're talking about the person who made the cure. Surely, his low-key love interest from the first movie,
Oh my God.
who developed the cure and decided to give up her life to stand by Blade in the battle against vampires,
Total
and
badass.
become like a strong, independent woman in the series who has her own arc that's clearly defined and interesting, is not mentioned in this movie. There's no mention of her. It is as though she never existed.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone.
That's cool. Guillermo,
Just
well,
gone.
do you think Guillermo maybe just didn't have room because he had so many other like interesting women characters in his movie?
Well, there's the one with pink hair who literally does not speak. And
Yeah,
then the daughter of
she
the
says the name of her lover.
whose name is Lighthammer, which sucks.
His name is Lighthammer?
Yeah, that's not in the subtitles.
Whoa.
And then there's the daughter of the vampire lord who leads the blood pack or whatever, and she's like, why do you not like us? We are not so different, you and I. Daddy, why? I must help Blade. It sucks. She's fucking
not
shitty.
an actor. I don't think she's an actor. I think she was actually that guy's daughter. Yes. So no, I guess not. They did not replace the cool,
interesting
doctor. Whatever.
Also, that we're losing a black character in a series that was like that we talked a lot about in the first movie. It's a 90s LA urban drama about a black man finding his way in the world. It's fascinating.
Yeah, you know how to make that cool. There's so many ways that Guillermo del Toro decided to make this movie less cool, and the other way is setting it in fucking Europe.
Which sucks.
Who gives a shit?
It's not cool to be in Europe.
No.
Fun fact.
Europe sucks.
Europe sucks.
Europe is just garbage.
Right.
It's a wasteland.
It's a shitty place.
Ugh,
They will slaughter each other for nothing. Okay. Anyways, so the vampires send 2 of those guys from that Half-Life warehouse level who go.
They research shit?
No, they run around with their padded little feet. And this is where things get real weird, where we get some Guillermo del Toro stupid goggle bullshit.
Yeah.
And he starts cutting in CGI parts to the combat that looks floppy and weird and is a real distraction.
Ugh, it's the like fucking Star Wars prequels, Matrix sequels, just like rubber guys.
It's a problem.
Yeah, but it's a problem because at least the Matrix 2 and 3, like they only use it for crazy giant battles, and I mean Star Wars also uses it just for Jedi fights. This is like literally them kicking each other, and he decides to, because there's one jump, make the whole scene CGI.
Well, to me, the thing about this movie is that the fight scenes seem so belabored and self-important that in the first movie, violence is this like throbbing undercurrent to the entire experience.
Yeah, it's quick.
And this, it's like very showy, very gaudy, very flashy. It doesn't have that same like. Again, I hate to be a broken record, but in the first movie, it's like you go to the beach. What gets all over your clothes? Grit.
Sand.
Well, grit.
Yeah, water.
Generally grit.
Ocean
the
water.
Salt, the dried salt. You got a lot of grit on your jeans.
At the ocean?
Yeah, it's a gritty place.
Are you sure you've been to the ocean?
Well, though it's wet, large, fish fucking it.
I don't know if I'd call it grit.
The experience is there's
What
gunk.
about a quarry?
Oh my
What if
god!
you went to a quarry?
Fine, a quarry.
Yeah, and you rolled around, and you're definitely covered. You've never rolled around in a quarry?
Is that slang for something or
No.
just straight up rolling around in a
It's
quarry?
fun, man.
All right.
I once went to a quarry. It was like, wow, this looks cool.
Two things from this episode: Europe sucks. Quarries, fun.
We drove in.
Mm.
We were taking pictures. We were like falling down the large hills of gravel, and then like 3 trucks leave. They see us, and then they move giant boulders, which that's their gate. There's no like lock. They just literally move boulders to block the entrance to their quarry. They could have told us that they were leaving, but they didn't do that. So we were, because we drove in, we got stuck inside the quarry.
Do you live by the hill people?
There were hill people. We got saved because the owner of the quarry lived in a house right next to the quarry.
Did you trade 3 beans to get out of the quarry or something?
We had no beans.
No beans.
He just was a nice quarry owner and moved the rocks for us.
Remember when John Carter says beans?
Yeah.
The first thing on the list is beans.
That's a great line.
We didn't know that was the highlight of the movie.
Yeah, that was the best line.
Well,
of the
except for
movie.
Tarkus.
Whatever. What is he, a Thurk?
He's a Thark. He's the leader of the Tharks.
He's the Jakab of the Tharks.
Jakad, yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Jedek. The Jedek.
The
of the
Jedek.
Cathod.
Oh, man, I forgetting this link. I got to rewatch it.
Yeah, we got to definitely. Time well spent. Okay, so the droopy, floopy people in ninja suits are messengers from the vampire lord. One of them is the cat guy from Red Dwarf, and one of them is his daughter, who is, of course, Nissa. Nyssa? Nissa?
Nissa. Yeah.
Nissa. Okay, they go to vampire headquarters in a helicopter, and they're like...
So, but this is the problem already. So this is what I'm supposed to believe, is that Blade, who in the last movie was also offered a truce with the vampires in order to do some bullshit, was like, fuck no, I'll even kill this kid. I'm so like, I don't want that. In this one, he's like, I mean, I don't know what you're offering, but sure.
Try it out. And like,
why not?
And then he's like, I'm covered in explosives. We'll blow him up.
What?
It's like, this is
You're
stupid.
gonna kill yourself?
What
the fuck?
He does a very non-Blade thing, and it's dumb.
Yeah.
This is the sequel thing I'm talking about, where this is why people hate sequels.
Yes.
Because instead of doubling down on the first movie, which would show confidence in the beginning of a franchise, they make an entirely different movie.
Yes.
In such a manner that you have this like doppelganger effect of like, yes, I'm technically watching Blade do stuff.
I don't even know if I would go that far.
It's not the Blade that we like doing cool Blade shit that we
Blade
understand.
is in this
He's
movie
smart and
about
calculating.
15%. I think 15%. If we were to be mathematicians and graph out the time Blade speaks and talks and fights, it would be like 10% of the movie. 90% of this movie is fucking people in suits and pink hair and Donnie Yen. Who dies
Okay,
too soon.
I will give you $50 if you could name 2 members of the Blood Pack.
By name? I couldn't name anybody. But,
okay, so Blade
there's Lighthammer.
I told you that one already.
And Ron Perlman, Donnie Yen, Nissa. There's Nissa. Oh, give me those 50 clams. I want them clams.
Gotta get them clams.
You owe me 50, baby.
You said the 2 I already told you.
Yeah, you didn't have any rules. You just said
No,
name
that's
2 people.
bullshit.
Yeah, fuck you.
No, you're cheating.
There's Donnie Yen.
What's his name?
I don't know. Probably something racist coming from Guillermo.
Surprisingly, no.
No? Okay.
Snowman, which is just stupid.
Wow.
This movie sucks. Okay,
So no one ever calls him Snowman.
Blade talks to the vampire lord, and the vampire was like, "My friend, there is a new breed of vampires. They will kill humans after they kill us." And Blade's like, "Okay, we're for buddies now."
The thing is, in the first one, they weren't precious humans. He does not give a fuck about the human race.
Yeah. That's the thing. This movie, the supposition in it is that Blade is operating for this larger goal. He is not.
No.
That's not what he does this for. We talked about it in the first movie at great length.
So I could sort of see why this might be a hard movie to write, because the first movie was getting revenge. I guess getting revenge, not getting vengeance.
I think they both work.
I'll say getting revenge for what he thought was the death of his mother, trying to find the vampire that killed his mother. And there's a little twist. He finds out that the vampire that killed his mother is actually the vampire that is fucking his mother. And he kills his mom, and he kills the vampire that's fucking his mom. So his drive is pretty much zeroed out at the end of the first movie. So Del Toro and the writer, Goyer, they could have, in this movie, given him a new purpose for which to be killing vampires, which they sort of did. They're like, oh, he needs to find Whistler. I was like, all right, fine, that's his new purpose. But then they got rid of that, and they didn't replace it with anything else.
Well, they tried to with this elaborate scheme that is very nonsensical.
No, but they replaced it with he cares about the human race, which
is
he does not
interesting
care
or
about.
cool.
But he also does not care about the human race.
Yeah.
So it's just this bullshit where, again, it's like, you know, you hear these stories about like, oh, that wasn't supposed to be a Cloverfield movie, but, you know, they wanted to brand it that way. Or it wasn't supposed to be a James Bond movie, but they decided to brand it. Or like, this feels like, oh, this wasn't supposed to be a Blade. This wasn't the script to Blade 2, but because Blade was successful and we want to make a Blade 2, we'll just throw Blade in this script.
But more to the point, the total lack of examination of Blade in this movie.
Yeah.
Taking him for granted as, we have Blade, Blade's cool, here's him doing stuff. That's not what's interesting about Blade.
No.
And it's crazy to me to like have this natural talent of the magnetism of Wesley Snipes in this role that's so immediate and striking and cool. And just showing him doing cool shit is not Blade.
No.
It's such a waste.
Also, you have to show him doing cool shit.
Like,
so let's go to the scene.
Okay, so
scene where we both lost interest.
Yeah, when they go to the House of Pain.
When they go to the House of Pain.
Now, here's the thing: you tell me and Charles that we're going to the House of Pain.
We're like, where do we
I'm
sign up?
Fucking stop on my nuts.
Yeah, I already got kicked in the nuts today by a dog.
It was really funny.
I didn't even have to pay for it.
No, it was free.
Like
well, you did drive there.
Yeah,
you do pay for the upkeep of your
the
dogs.
Expensive driving.
Yeah, it's wear and tear in your vehicle. There's the gas, insurance. All the doodads, knickknacks for the car.
What are you talking about?
Doodads, knickknacks.
Wait, I have to pay for those?
Well, you know that thing where you put your phone on the dashboard? You had to buy that thing.
I did have to buy that thing.
Right.
And a little thing to go in the cigarette lighter.
Yeah.
Doesn't even light my cigarettes anymore.
No, you know the bumper sticker you have that says, "Don't like my driving, call 1-800 eat shit"?
Yeah.
That wasn't free.
Who's buying all this shit? Oh, I am.
Yeah, it's you. That's how they get you.
Should I buy a Bernie magnet?
I got a We Can Discover the Wonders of Bernie Steely, which I love.
Wait, what's a Steely?
A Steely is the iconic Grateful Dead skull logo, but in the middle of it, it's Bernie Sanders, and it says, instead of the iconic lyric, "We can discover the wonders of nature," which is Bob Weir talking about sex in a dorky way, it's replaced with, "We can discover the wonders of Bernie." And Bernie's in the middle of the skull.
Which is also Bob Weir's way of talking about sex.
Yeah, baby, gonna fuck Bernie, laying down that Bernie.
Do you think in the full communist methodology of his thinking, everyone gets to fuck Bernie?
Yeah, no, that's mandatory. We will all fuck me, President Sanders. Fuck me. I am a complete pig.
But we all get a chance.
Everyone gets to fuck Bernie.
Everyone gets to fuck Bernie.
Good stuff. Okay, so the vampire team has a stupid plan. The vampire squad is dumb. It's made of
They're called the Blood Boys?
The Blood Pack.
Something.
And their whole thing is their job, the Blood Pack. Their job, the Blood Boys is good. I think that's a band. Their job is to kill Blade, and now he's their uncomfortable friend. Ooh, what a twist.
So we get Ron Perlman, we got Donnie Yen. I was like, oh shit, that's Donnie Yen. I love Donnie Yen.
I mean, Donnie Yen is handsome, powerful, attractive, and talented.
Oh shit, they're going to the House of Pain. They're going to get into a big fight at the House of Pain.
That's cool.
Oh my god, Donnie Yen's going to be fucking great.
Fun fact. That's his one action scene in the movie. Think about that.
Oh, wait. Think about
That's it. He dies.
Think
So
about this. The action scene is...
we don't even see him die.
So there's...
That's how bad it is.
There's Nyssa.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Ron Perlman. There's Chud. Oh, Chud. Right? Scud?
Chud? Scud.
No,
No,
who's the guy?
Scud.
Who's the guy with the big gun?
Oh, it's not Chud.
Sure.
Let me look at the Wikipedia article.
Okay. There's Chud. There's the guy from Red Dwarf.
There's Reinhardt, Chupa, Snowman, Verlaine. This sucks. This is some dumb bullshit. Like, I don't want to meet literally half a dozen other people. I want to hang out with Blade. Like, am I crazy?
And then you not only don't... Well, I was like, I would be okay with meeting a half dozen other people if...
They were as cool as Blade.
If Blade still got to do shit and they were cool. Unfortunately, the scene we're talking about, the House of Pain, Blade is almost not in it.
It's crazy. And
everyone else is boring, and like literally the whole scene is them shooting at vampires that are immune to bullets.
But you're missing the point that I was trying to make a second ago.
Okay.
Their plan is we'll go to the place where lots of vampires hang out, and maybe there will be Reapers there, possibly.
Yeah.
And as a watcher, you're like, oh, well, I mean, I guess they have to be there, right? I mean, like what is this? Like, why? Like, as a plot device, we're gonna go to this place and poke around until we might stumble. It's like, well, I'm watching a movie. I know they're gonna be there. Why do this weird coy thing of like? So then they try to do this thing, which is sort of admirable if it works, but it doesn't. Where Del Toro tries to. We're following everyone. It's jumping around.
It's very bad.
Inexplicably between everyone's little jaunt around the House of Pain, which looks like the fucking Matrix house.
Plus the two humans who are outside.
Yeah, Whistler and Scud in the van. And
there's so many problems with this scene. This is like supposed to be the big scene in the movie.
Well, it's the big set piece of the center of the movie, basically.
It's the biggest letdown.
And what we get instead is the manner in which it's put together grinds the momentum of every individual sub-thread into a halt. We forget who's doing what, where, and why. Everyone's just in like a different general environment. Lighthammer guy is in like a kitchen area. Mm-hmm. Nyssa and someone else are just like in a Matrix house.
Yeah.
One of them's like, and then so you're like, wait, what's happening where?
And then I already forgot his name. Chado? No.
Chupa
and
Assad the Catman, I think, are on the dance floor. And the dance isn't sexy or cool.
No,
there's sort of cool stuff where they're like torturing each other for fun on the sides of it.
They're all getting tattoos and like spinal infusions and
like skinning each other, which is which would be cool if the other PTA who did Event Horizon did that. It'd be fucking like I'd be puking, but it's boring.
You can just see Del Toro's cum
so
on
shitty.
set on every one of those. He's like, oh, wouldn't it be fucking cool if our spine was showing? Get me that. Get me a spine. Show me that spine. And he like
give me that spine.
That woman's spine open.
Yeah, not good. Anyways, so then when he flicks the dominoes and all these things start to play out, it's disjointed, boring, not that cool. And you're just like, wait, what the fuck? Where and when is any of this happening in relation to everything else?
Yeah. And let's compare that to the scene in the first one when they're setting up for the big entrance of the blood whirlwind god and Blade confronting his mother. We have two story elements that we have to keep track of, and the cutting is so well paralleled that it's like almost one scene, and you can feel how the one moment upstairs is really related to the moment downstairs, and then when they connect, it's like, wow, that was really great filmmaking.
Right, both Deacon Frost and Blade are confronting the ultimate psychological challenges in their life. The forces that make them feel othered and feel them out of control, they're going to fundamentally alter their relationship to those forces. And it's like, this makes sense.
Yeah.
And then this movie they're all creepy crawling around the big house.
Yeah. Oh, and some of them are on the dance floor. And what's this?
Truly lame.
Wait, it's been 10 minutes. Nothing's happened. Why are we still watching 6 different characters? Oh, wait. This is my favorite part. Whistler vanishes.
And fun fact, we don't see what he did.
Okay, and then so that's supposed to cast like, oh, maybe he's a vampire still.
Was that attempt? Because that was terrible.
So
I didn't even catch that.
Right.
That's how poorly it was telegraphed.
Yeah.
Oh, then of course, lest we forget later, a little Chekhov's head exploder friggin' Blade's a wild guy, and Ron Perlman's like, you fucking piece of shit, I want to fucking kill you right now. And Blade's like, try me, asshole, and puts a bomb on the back of his head. It's like, I'm gonna blow your fucking head off
Which
whenever I
was
fucking
the most
want to.
relatable part of the movie for me.
Yeah, I was like begging for someone to blow my head
I
off.
was like, and oh god, I remember every time someone's put a bomb on my head.
So yes, that'll come back later. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay, they know this dumb bullshit, and like they're trying the bullets and the Reapers. It's not working. And they're like, quick, do the bullet thing more. And then they find out the UV light does work on them. And here's the problem: we have seen in these movies that the UV light is a regular part of their arsenal that they've been using and understand the effect of and have the capability to do. So then they make these grenades that do it, but they because it's such an easy, simple solution to the problem, they have to find ways to make that not the only logical thing to do until the most critical possible moment, which makes you feel like a fucking asshole because you just know they can just flip a switch. And then when they do, you're like, well, this is dumb. Why did we wait?
As the leader of the Blood Gang.
The Blood Pack. Please respect the Blood Pact. Pack.
Blood Pack?
Blood Pack.
Blade should have just been like, well, light's the big thing here, so let's use light. And then Ron Perlman would have been like, dude, I'm a fucking vampire. That would kill me too. And he's like, oh, well, then just stay home. I fucking got this.
We don't need these fucking guys.
Yeah, so it just is like this weird limitation. Like, and then they have to make bombs that don't actually. Like, they make light work like fire for no... It's
crazy. And then here's the other thing that drives me crazy. You pointed this out, and then it was true for other things in the movie. Different people die in different ways that are inconsistent, that are really irritating. So as you pointed out, in the House of Pain, like a handful of Reapers cause a whole mess of problems.
Yeah, there's 4 of them.
When later they go into the sewers to fight the Reapers... There's
hundreds
billions of them, and they're mowing them down with bullets, which don't work theoretically. Like, based on the balance of power we saw in the House of Pain, the Reaper should have been flossing with their tendons by the end of that fucking scene.
Yeah.
And they're not. They're like rats. They're useless.
Yeah.
It's super annoying.
It sucks.
Like, later in the movie, when key vampires die, they get their own weird deaths that are obviously physiologically at opposition to every other vampire in every other part of the movie.
Yeah, we learn very specifically that the Reapers only transmit the toxin through their little sucker.
Through the alien thing that they do.
But then the big bad vampire dies because at this basically a human bite, he bites a chunk out of his throat.
And then, like, blue ooze pours out.
But he doesn't use the vampire toxin, so it's just like a flesh wound that should have easily healed.
And here's the problem. What you're also alluding to is what we're not even talking about, which is so nuts. There's a whole autopsy scene that is stupid.
Oh, God,
but they go out of their way to teach us the elaborate anatomy of these stupid Reapers that are fucking suck and look shitty. And you can tell Guillermo just loves this dumb bullshit. He loves monsters.
Do you think he fucked that little hole?
He probably fucked that little
fucking
hole.
like,
He sucks.
The fuck that hole was.
It's like, we often talk about this, but the thing that works about Philip K. Dick as a sci-fi author is that it doesn't really matter what the spaceships look like.
Oh, yeah.
He's like,
he's my kind of writer.
They're little fucking ships and they fly the ships. You know what I mean? Who gives a shit? It's a fucking spaceship.
Right.
Because he's like I understand this genre. I know what I'm going to talk about is not about the needlessly complex technology behind it. It's not the point of this. No. The idea of the story is what I'm telling. It doesn't matter how the monsters work.
Right.
With a vampire movie, the whole idea is being enslaved to something, losing control, having your body have a thirst you can't quench. These are ideas that psychologically are compelling.
Yeah.
To have a scene where to explain why the new guys are worse than the other guys, there has to be a technical explanation with a goddamn PowerPoint,
which is then
insane,
undermined in every scene.
Right.
So Del Toro, this is the thing we're talking about. We're like, in a good movie, flaws like this don't matter because they don't really come up in the same way. It's not that they don't matter because the movie's better. It's because these sorts of flaws are unimportant in a movie that doesn't go out of its way to explain how things work. So then you're like, wait, well, if you go to that extreme to tell me how things are working, all I'm going to notice are the ways that doesn't work. I'm like, well, why the fuck?
And in this case, when we're literally going through an autopsy showing how every single component of the Reaper's face operates, because at the end of the movie, you should not be left being like, wait, why do I know that? Like, you shouldn't walk away with that.
Wait, I know exactly what their fucking intestines and colon looks like. I know.
Okay, so like in John Carter, it's charming that everyone's motivations are completely inscrutable because it's such dog shit that you're like, thank God I don't understand what's going on. This is so stupid. In this movie, it's like, wait, we spent like 5 minutes on how their inner tooth dispenses a poison and the goo it's like, what the fuck is this?
Who gives a shit?
No one cares.
Del Toro does.
What a loser. What a dumb fucking
loser.
He's
on the fuck off list. He's on a different list. Bad. He should be on the, I don't know. He should go to jail.
All right.
I don't believe in jail. I think all jails should be disbanded. But I think jail should exist for cultural crimes.
We just gotta. This sucks. I hate this so much.
Okay, so let's just get to the end. The big
lot of dumb bullshit happens.
I want to point out the big vampire. This happens in the movie. They capture Blade. For some reason, the big vampire explains his master plan to Blade, and then the daughter goes, "Wait." So the big vampire is like, "I made him. I'm trying to make
the head reaper.
Sorry.
Please include more content in your descriptions."
Sorry. The big bad vampire is like, "I made the original reaper, attempting to create a better race of vampires that are that don't have these limitations and weaknesses."
And he literally is like, "Yeah, it's like I'm his father or something."
Yeah, he's like, I made this guy. He didn't turn out great. I want to kill him, but I have other ones, and I'm going to try better ones. And then the daughter's like, "But how did he get this ring of our family?" He's like, literally the line is, "Well, I thought that would be obvious by now.
I gave it to him.
I fucking gave it to him because I made him."
Right? How else would that have happened?
It's like, wait.
And it just shows like how low they have such little faith in this story that they need to like laminate every fucking moment. It's crazy. Then we didn't even talk. We have to talk about this a little bit. Blade wakes up being captured by the vampires, and then we are entreated to literally straight exposition for an entire scene where Whistler goes, "Well, they tricked us, and now we're captured. We've got to do this now." And Scud's
it's where are we? Well, we must be in a chamber somewhere.
Yeah, Whistler's just the most useless bullshit.
We're in a chamber?
Remember when Whistler was cool?
Yeah.
That's forever ago.
Remember when they
Scud
did mention him that he's his father figure? And in this one, they're like literally a line that says, "Wow, you're just sort of like a father figure to him."
Good stuff. And then fucking Scud is like full Admiral Hux. I was the spy, and then dies like instantly.
I don't know.
No, he's like, "I'd rather be a pet than cattle. Like they're gonna rule the world, man." It's like, oh, so this guy was like, he just sucks. Okay, so all the time we spent getting to know him and his interactions with Whistler, all of his time, like all of that was just nothing. It was just nothing.
Yeah,
it was a convenience, and it's nothing.
And I think that's why they showed Whistler vanish during that one scene, because they wanted us to think that he was, but they don't give us any, like, if there's a scene like, oh, there's a fucking mole, how are the Reapers getting information? They don't even do that. So like, who cares?
I guess, like, I think about the first movie we talked a lot. I think it's like Resident Evil or Metal Gear Solid vibe, and this that's gone. All of that intrigue and sophistication is gone, and it's replaced with the most like idiotic knee-jerk plot points that are so stupid. And then Blade's like, gonna blow up Ron Perlman's head. You're like, oh, finally, someone's head's gonna blow up. This could be okay. And then Ron Perlman's like, nope, it's fake. And Scud's like, yeah, I'm a turncoat, motherfucker. It's fake. And then maybe the dumbest moment of the entire movie, which is saying something, Blade goes, no, I knew you were a mole. And again, it's a whole subplot that they're just summarizing in like one exchange. He goes, it does work, even though he pressed it before and it didn't work.
So
maybe it was a trick press. Then he blows up Scud, and there's chunks of Scud everywhere. Chud skunks.
He chooses to not kill the person that dies by
I said chud skunks. I meant Scud chunks.
That's a funny thing to say anyway.
Scud chunks.
Scud chunks barely registers.
Chunk skunks. Chunk scrunks. Scrunk scranks. This is melting my brain.
So he has the choice to, because he knows it's a fake bomb, but he turned into a real bomb. He has the choice to kill the thing that can only be killed by sunlight and silver with a silver bomb, or kill a human being, which he can literally kill with one punch.
Kill the dude
with the silver bomb
in cargo pants with a hoodie on, or Ron Perlman, the guy with a shotgun and body armor. He's like,
and who is a vampire,
right? But of course, this movie being what it is, like, well, no, they have to have a fight later, so let's blow up Scud. Who, again, I think the trick of It was me, and then instantly dispatching that character. It just shows that there were no stakes there.
Right.
There was nothing to investigate. There was no content to that.
No one
It
liked
was just
him anyway.
convenient. It was so stupid.
Yeah. Oh God. Do you think Whistler's gonna come back for number 3? I hope not.
I don't know what to expect at this point. Because now
I just
Goyer
don't-
directed and wrote the third one.
Hmm.
I was saving that one for the end of this episode. Yeah.
Interesting.
I gotta tell you, I gotta ask the big Q.
Is it time?
Can I start this time?
Yeah. Let me ask you. It's about that time to ask the big Q. So tell me, Josh.
Yes.
Are
Yes.
you-
I almost never, on this show, I want to say to date, I am game for a lot of bad shit.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
You are. You put me through scary movies 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
This was in many ways, well, 5 doesn't even count as a thing. 5 is like a minus thing. 5 is like a vacant void in
You
my
still
life.
put me through whatever it is that we did, but that's all right.
There were a lot of maid jokes at the end of the day, you know,
Maid?
about the Latina maid.
Yeah, she was like.
That was like 2/3 of
She
the
should have
movie.
been second bill.
Yeah, she did a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, honestly, the racist joke where she sleeps in the form of a cross was a pretty amazing visual stunt.
That was funny.
Yeah.
The mirroring of the.
Yeah, the visual stunt of her in her spare time, just hitting pinatas
and sleeping with a vacuum, which she later
yeah.
marries. It's implied. Good stuff. Can I just to pause and pull the camera back for a minute? We're now in like minute 50 of our Blade 2 review, and we are recounting the good parts of Scary Movie 5
and the bad parts.
That's true.
We're just desperate to talk about something.
I'm saying when will it end because I liked Blade. Blade was my friend. Blade was cool. Blade would have shot me to kill a vampire.
Can
and
I
that was
admit
cool.
something?
What?
I almost said it last episode.
Really?
But I was willing to admit that maybe it would be okay. But this was my fear. That Del Toro would take over. We would lose everything that was good about Blade. And now I'm like, even if Blade Trinity is good, it's fucking like Terminator.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fucking either try so hard to undo what Blade 2 did or continue in the path that Blade 2 created. We need a Blade 4, really.
Well, we're technically speaking getting a Blade 4
We're
in
getting
the
a Blade
form of
0 or
Blade
whatever.
0, which is
Yeah.
fine. Here's the thing. This movie drove me crazy because do you remember that one part where they take us back to the visual palette of Blade 1 for one scene? They go back to the blue for one scene.
I don't know.
And you're like, oh, this is so nice. This is the Blade I remember. And then it's back to like the ugliest looking movie. What was the dominant
like
color here?
shit.
Like yellow or orange
Red.
or some shit? But like shitty red, not cool red, like vermilion,
yeah.
like a garish red.
I mean, I've seen enough Refn movies to like know when someone understands how to use like light filters or whatever. I don't know what it does, but like when someone wants it to look red, Refn uses people that like makes it look really cool and like changes in colors. Like this looks like they were just like sitting in a heat lamp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like waiting for the scene to end because they're frying. It was ugly as fuck.
Okay. Then the end of the movie is also a fucking disaster.
So we go back from zombies being totally immune to bullets to a scene where they are completely destroyed by bullets to one man being able to take over an entire base with machine guns.
The head Reaper infiltrates. I hate even talking about this. He finds a way to just charge through ranks and ranks and ranks of guys with guns, and it's stupid. And there's like suddenly no more Reapers and just him or something. It makes no sense. I lost the thread on the Reapers.
Yeah, they
entirely.
killed all the Reapers in the sewers.
That's stupid.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
That's
like
a full
in,
Batman.
Yeah.
Fucking God.
Where are all the cops?
This is like a playing the hits of the worst sequels out there, the worst franchise films. It really is.
This is in there.
It's
yeah, this
really
is one of the worst
very
movies I've ever
frustrating.
seen.
To go from like, I would give Blade a 9.5 or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
right, and I'd say you've already letterboxed it.
Yeah, man, I do it as soon as I do it.
This is a straight up like 1.5. Generously.
I gave it a half.
Wow.
This not only ruined the first movie, it didn't ruin the first movie, but it ruined the path of what the first movie offered to me.
Well, because it's like the vibe that Guillermo has is like, isn't this cool?
Yeah.
And it's like, no. The whole point of 1 is how agonizing his life is.
Yeah.
It's about the pain of being Blade. But they don't even say it. They just show you it.
Yeah.
Through his actions. His violence has a purpose. If only to him, it still has purpose. And in this movie, nothing has any purpose.
It's pathetic. So bad. Yeah, I give this a half. I would give it a 0 because to me this is less than.
Well, I would never watch it again. Easy, never watch it again.
There's nothing redeemable. I don't recommend anyone spend any time.
This is like
on
Alien Resurrection status of like not even fun. It's hard to get through.
I would put it as Aliens status. I think it's much more comparable to Aliens.
Aliens, the things that happen in Aliens that you hate, I understand, but I also like the movie Aliens. I think that's
insane.
I think as a
When was the last
sequel,
time you fucking watched it? That's insane to say that you like Aliens.
it's not insane.
When was the last time you watched it?
A couple of years ago. No, we watched it together for with The Real Deal with Josh and Charles.
Yeah,
Available
but
on
we watched it
podcasts or downloaded.
separately. We already talked about this. We watched
So
it separately.
if I entered your sphere of domination,
yes.
what did Steve Jobs call it? Like the temporal
I
distortion
don't know, iPod.
iPod 10,000. I'm gonna put 10,000 songs in your pocket.
Yeah,
We got to make Jobs too, but he joins a gang, like a team of super tech disruptors.
Yeah,
that'd be so tight.
yeah, but he doesn't really get to do very much because they're much more important than him.
Yeah. You know, watching all these movies makes me realize that Jobs really is one of my favorite movies of the teens.
Yeah,
I love the movie Jobs. It is a movie that brings me great delight. Because you watch movies like this where clearly it's just an excuse to try to flood it with effects and stunts and tricks that are
intestines.
just feel like getting yelled at, or
Heart,
it's just like not fun.
bones.
It's exhausting.
Whoa, this fucking it's got a bone over its whole heart,
And then
except for this little part where it doesn't have bone.
That shit sucked. I hate that explanation. Explaining the weak point in the monster I hate. It's so lazy. I shouldn't need to understand the physics of how he beats them.
That is why vampires are good story devices,
Right.
because they have things, very easy, memorable things that kill them.
To finish my thought,
Okay.
the reason, in stark relief to all of this, you watch Jobs, and Ashton Kutcher is like, I'm playing the guy who made the iPod. That's pretty cool.
Therefore, I'm pretty cool.
He's like, it's good. He's just like, Steve Jobs was quirky but good. It's important we all understand that.
One of the reasons he was good was he made a lot of speeches and he wore blue jeans.
Guys,
That's
we
good.
can't think like other people. We've got to make the iPod. And there's like a beautiful quality to that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so charming that there's a movie out there where you're watching a fucking absolute ass over heels moron to make this like fawning depiction of an absolute tyrant psychopath. And then you watch this movie where it's like, you're working so hard to serve me a plate of nothing.
Zero.
You walk away from this with nothing. And then the Nissa dies because her brother bit her. And then for whatever reason, you think Blade might ally with the Reapers, but no, they've got to do another fight. And the fight sucks like all the fights in this movie.
Yeah.
And it's boring. And then she's got to see the sun before she dies because it's some corny bullshit.
Fuck.
And okay, you talked about this. Talk about unfair shit. Many people become Reapers very quickly, but when the guy in the squad becomes a Reaper, it takes quite a while. So it's a big surprise later. And by the way, do we see his transformation? No.
No.
Do we see any of them transform? No. When they kill Donnie Yen, do we see Donnie die? No. We're led to believe Donnie Yen
true.
dies like an absolute fucking loser.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
But also, wouldn't he have just turned? Like, that's bullshit. Donnie Yen, this is the crime in the movie. You cast Donnie Yen, you give him one kick? Like, he should have been that fucking House of Pain scene. It should have been Blade and Donnie Yen kicking ass.
Yeah. The House of Pain is the biggest missed opportunity, and it's the bellwether for what's to come.
Yeah.
Even after the voiceover, I was like, okay, maybe there's still a way this can rally. And
So
the second they take us to like the cool Euro version of the dance club, and it sucks. It's like, this sucks.
So who directs? So Goyer directs 3. It's got Ryan Reynolds.
The great Ryan Reynolds.
Does it? Can you check if it has Christoph?
Who's Christoph?
Chris Christopher? Who's Christoph? Was that really that difficult?
His name is not Christoph. It's Chris Christopherson.
Yeah, I'm shortening because I'm cool guy.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Well,
I'm
look
way
this
more
up
excited
for me
about
first.
that than Blade 3. We're so close to being done. Well, Parker Posey's in it. That's cool.
That's fun.
Hey, Jessica Biel and Ryan Reynolds is on the team.
Wow.
They're rogue vampire hunters. That sounds wild.
Ooh, that actually sounds fun.
I'm not seeing.
No Chris.
No, okay, he's in it. He's in it. Sleep Easy.
I don't want him in it.
Oh, Dominic Purcell from Prison Break is in it. The big guy, the big fella.
Not the movie, the show.
The show, which by the way, season 1, fucking rules.
I've heard it's good.
It's really good.
I keep thinking everyone's talking about the Schwarzenegger Stallone movie.
No, you loved that. I haven't seen it yet.
It's really good.
Natasha Lyonne is in this. Patton Oswalt. Dios míos. Michael John Higgins. I like him. Triple H, the wrestler. Wow.
All right.
I'm wondering if this is the kind of thing we experience where everyone hates the third movie and we're like, it's actually pretty good.
I mean, it's got to be better than this one, so
I suppose so.
it can't get worse.
I would say that genuinely the worst thing about the movie is how it looks. I hated looking at it. And going from the first movie to the second movie, if this was at least cool looking, I could have swallowed some of how poor the plot is. But
maybe I have different tastes, but to me, the worst part of this movie was the complete destruction of the character Blade.
when you put it like that, it does sound bad.
It's not good.
Yeah.
So I would have taken an ugly movie where at least Blade was intact, had 80% of the story and what he was going through as a vampire man.
Right. Well, no, we talked about other versions of this that might be cool. Another idea I had was maybe Blade's carrying out an investigation where he keeps brushing up against a team of elite vampires doing their own investigation.
Sort of like
there
a
are
Bad
ways,
Boys.
Right, to give him plenty of space to be Blade and do his own thing.
Yeah.
I want to see Blade do a full investigation. I want to see Blade explore Europe and kill Europeans.
Sure.
But this compromise in the middle where he becomes one of 7 or 8 is fucking dummy. It's dumb.
You can't have that many people on a team.
So the idea of the movie is more bigger but less Blade,
3,
which is stupid.
Blade Trinity's got 3.
Right, so maybe that's a step in the right direction.
I think it's going to be okay. I'm hoping it's okay.
Our expectations are now at this point where we're praying that Blade 3 is okay.
We're praying.
We're praying.
I get down on my knees. I'm
I
going
get
to
down
go
on my
to
knees and
church
pray.
tomorrow.
Take me to church. You realize that today is Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't church open all the time?
I don't know.
Wait, are synagogues open every day?
Synagogues are, I mean, I don't think you get everything all the time, but you know.
Do Jews have prayer in the same way that Goys do?
What are you talking about?
I just don't know. Is like prayer a part of Jewish?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay.
A lot of prayer.
I'm just asking.
Okay.
I'm
Yes.
not trying to belittle your faith. I'm just like, I
Jews
don't
pray.
know about your faith in some ways.
Can I just close this episode with one thing?
Is it a review on IMDb?
Mars. So you name it and think that you know it. The red planet. No hair, no life. But you do not know Mars, for its true name is Barsoom. And it is not airless, nor is it dead, but it is dying. The city of Zatinga, son of that.
Now that's how you start
That's
a movie.
how you start a fucking movie.
Oh boy! Next week we're gonna do Blade Trinity.
When I saw you jump the first time, yeah.
Yeah, jump, man.
How is Willem Dafoe not in these movies and the Blade movies? Look at the fucking guy. Cast him as vampire anything.
Yeah, he's fine. Dude, he was in Boondock Saints.
Mm.
That was my first time seeing Willem.
Really?
Yeah, it was in Boondock Saints, I think.
There was a firefight.
He was fucking crazy in that movie.
Yeah. Well, anyways, as always, Tar Stark is forever.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It's not Mars; it's called Barsoom.
That's true.
And the Confederacy will live on in space for 1,000 years if John Carter has anything to say about it.
Yeah. What an American boy.
I have to go to the bathroom.
Okay.